Hello and welcome back to the Adventures of Lola Badiola. In this episode, we're going to return to some basic business English. And more importantly, we're going to find out what happened to Lola Badiola after her night out with the man from the Red Bull racing team. So let's get straight back to the story.
The Adventures of Lola Badiola. Chapter 14. Waking Up. Even before Lola opened her eyes, she knew that she was waking up in someone else's bed. It smelled different, the scent of an unfamiliar washing powder. She tried to remember what had happened the previous night and became aware of a slight ache in her head. She could hear the movement of pots and pans in a distant kitchen. Somebody in the apartment was already awake. She opened one eye. She was lying alone in a double bed. She asked herself the obvious questions. Where was she? How did she get here? And, most critically, whose bed was she in? A shot of adrenaline passed through her body, and she sat upright. She was wearing her bra, panties, and socks underneath an oversized t-shirt with the Harvard University logo. The events of last night came rushing back to her. The red wine, the tears, the hugs, and Mr. Red Bull. She heard a deep voice nearby, and then the door of the bedroom started to open very slowly. She stared at it like a deer in the headlights. A man's face appeared from the other side of the door. "Good morning," he said. Lola rubbed her eyes. The man was tall and muscular, much bigger than the one she had met the previous night. He smiled at her, and then turned and shouted in the direction of the kitchen. "Hey, Concha, Sleeping Beauty's awake." "Perfect timing," Concha shouted back. Lola sank back into the bed in relief. The man was Eugenio, Concha's loving husband. "Come on," he said. "You've got a fruit smoothie with your name on it waiting in the kitchen." Lola got out of bed and headed through to the kitchen, apologizing sincerely to Eugenio, who had clearly spent the night sleeping on the sofa. "I didn't know where I was," said Lola, with an embarrassed smile. "When did you redecorate the flat?" "Just after I got back from Angola," replied Eugenio. Eugenio Hernandez had been married to Concha for just over a year. He was a freelance documentary filmmaker currently working for the World Wildlife Fund, WWF. That morning he was particularly excited as he was flying out to Davos to interview politicians, environmentalists, and business people at World Economic Forum, WEF. Lola admired Eugenio and asked him a lot of questions about his job. He was always jetting off to exotic locations to make films about endangered animals in stunning landscapes. He was incredibly knowledgeable about world affairs and spoke at least 5 different languages. He was also a wizard in the kitchen, the fruit smoothie he'd prepared for Lola being a testament to his abilities. Concha and Eugenio were an odd-looking couple. She was petite and pretty. He was almost 2 meters tall and had a face that had taken a few knocks from his days as a competitive rugby player. Despite their physical differences, they were perfectly matched in every other way. It was no secret that they were making a big effort to have a child whenever Eugenio was in town. "So," said Eugenio with a wicked smile, "what did you think of your blind date?" Lola took a sip of her smoothie. Mr. Red Bull was a nice guy. He was interesting, funny, and a good listener. At the end of the evening, he had walked her back to Concha's apartment and kissed her good night. Lola searched her memory for any embarrassing moments, any silly comments or actions that she regretted. But, for once, there were none. After her tears in the bathroom, the evening had gone very smoothly, and she felt good about herself. "He's all right?" she said nonchalantly. "Just all right." "Come on, guys, I've got a lot on my plate right now. Wouldn't you like to settle down with an Eugenio in your life?" Concha wrapped her arms around her husband and pinched his chubby cheeks. Eugenio kissed his wife and pulled away. "Listen, girls, I need to pack my bags for the trip." Yeah, and I need to get ready for work, said Lola. Concha, can I borrow a suit? Sure, let's get this show on the road. Lola had a quick shower and then squeezed herself into one of Concha's suits. It was a couple of sizes too small for her, the bottom of her thighs showing beneath the skirt, and her bust pushed upwards and outwards by the jacket. It wasn't particularly comfortable, but it would do for the coming day. Lola took a short bus ride from the apartment to the office on Gran Via, which meant that she arrived on time for work. She smiled at the doorman as she entered the Adriatica building and took the stairs up to the third floor. She was humming a little tune, feeling good about herself as she walked into the office. The first thing she saw was Cayetano waiting at her desk. He was with two other men, one tall, young and Northern European, the other short, old and Spanish. She had no meeting booked in her agenda, so she wondered who the two men might be. "Morning, Lola. Nice suit," said Cayetano as he moved to the side. One of the strangers stepped forward to introduce himself. "Good morning, Miss Badiola. My name is James Bach, and this is my partner, Guzman Thunthonegi. We work for the Cybercrime Division of Interpol, and we would like to ask you a few questions about a recent corporate hacking incident."